As it is, they get 3. And the bottom line here, as we go forward with the process, looking ahead to the draft and free agency, it seems, Alan, there's a lot on the table.
Yeah, options, plenty of options for the Knicks at number 3. You still don't know what are the Grizzlies going to do at 2. You know, that still is something you want to keep an eye on. I was reading a report in Memphis this morning that there's some thought that they'll try to trade Mike Conley. Good luck with that. He's got 2 more years left on a contract that's going to pay him upwards of $30-something million a year. So they'd want to move if they're going to take Ja Morant, because that would be an awkward fit as well. He's a very popular player in Memphis. So what are they going to do at that number, at number 2, remains to be seen. But 3, you're going to, if this is a 3-player draft, like we all want to assume, then at least you've got one of the 3 better players you'll get. Or, of course, the value of the pick, and maybe you could do something via trade.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good position to be in. And we watched those guys play all year long, and Ja Morant just stormed on the scene. And there's no way he's overtaking 1. Let's establish that. Zion is going to be the guy. He's box office material. Ja Morant, though, is a perfect NBA point guard. He really sees the floor well. Tremendous athlete. The fact that he played in a small conference, you know, kind of raises a few eyebrows.
Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum are proving that
exactly. Doesn't make a difference where you can
You
play.
also proved that not to be necessary either.
But, you know, Alan brought up Memphis. Did they take Morant, or does Morant maybe fall to the Knicks?
Well, you know, just last night looking and thinking about everything, I mean, there's always a possibility someone can fall. I mean, from now until draft day, there's going to be a lot of talking, a lot of poker faces, all kind of stuff. But I started looking last night at teams that could possibly try to get in there and get Mike Conley, because Mike Conley's already made it clear to the front office, like, if I'm here, I'm here. If not, like, let's get this done.
That's $30 million, Swin.
It's $30 million, but it's tough. It's
years.
definitely tough to move. But let's take it, you know, out west. Look at a team like Utah. You know, a team that could possibly have the cap space, and look at a veteran type of point guard. Now, if Mike can stay on the floor, he has produced. And you put him with a young Gobert and also Donovan Mitchell.
Right.
There's possibilities. There are teams out there. It's just about if they're willing to take that risk because of some of the injuries that have happened. There's not many teams that are willing to take that on. But if they can move him, I do think that they're going to look at Ja Morant as the future point guard there in Memphis.
Why can't Ja just go to his workouts in Memphis and just tank, just be really bad, just miss shots like crazy, you know?
Is there a risk, Wally, you're a mid-major guy, is there a risk of where he may extrapolate to, big word, in the NBA?
Listen, there's always a risk in the draft. We've seen busts all over the place, from the number 1 pick to the number 2, 3. It doesn't matter, but this guy looks like he can flat out play. When you watch him and you see him compete up against the upper echelon, you saw him in the NCAA tournament, he fared very, very well. He's continuing to improve every single year, and that's what you want as a player, and that's the kind of guy you need. You need a guy who can run pick and roll. You need a guy who can take over an offense. You need a guy who can finish around the rim, space the floor with the 3-point shot. He's got incredible ball handling skills, so I can't see him moving from 2, but you know, Knicks are in a good spot with 3. R.J. Barrett, a lot of people are saying it. He was the projected number 1 pick before we saw Zion on the floor at Cameron Indoor, and you know what his athleticism brings to the table, and the fact that he's more than just a phenomenal athlete. This guy is, I just think he's going to be a great pro. You know, he comes from the pedigree of his father, was a great player also. And
great overseas player too,
yeah, and you know, he just knows the game, and he dominated physically at his age in college, no question. So once again, one question for me is, once he goes up against bigger, more athletic, faster, quicker athletic men, how's he going to fare? Is he going to be able to, you know, use his body and bully ball like he did in college? But I think he's going to develop other ways to score. He just knows how to put the ball in the basket. He was the leading scorer for Duke this year. So this guy's going to be really good in an NBA uniform.
And one thing you can think of is, if you're going to get some players in free agency, you'll have some veterans on the team, there's not as much pressure as there would be typically. Like Zion shows up in New Orleans, and let's say Anthony Davis is gone, he's going to need to be great right away. Whereas R.J. Barrett on a team in New York might not have to be great right away. It can allow him to grow while there's some veterans playing ahead of him.
But if you're a rookie, you know, Swin, you don't want to be patient.
Yeah.
I mean, I put the uniform on and I was like, let's go. I want to play 35 minutes tonight. I want to average 20 a game. Let's
Take
go.
a lot of shots.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Like Kevin Knox, that's the dream scenario. Kevin Knox got to play through mistakes. He got to, you know, he didn't have to sit the bench and watch and learn and blah, blah, blah.
I just mean pressure-wise. You could take the pressure off of everybody just staring at it. You have to be great.
There's more
Now
pressure
there's
when you're
more to
not
look at.
getting minutes, and you got to earn those minutes, and then you know, you're being yanked in and out of the lineup. For me, I want it to be,
Yeah,
you want your playing time.
Well, I think the other thing too, let's keep this in mind with Kevin Knox when he came from Kentucky. The one thing we kept saying is, physically, he's going to have to adjust to what's going to be at the next level. And I thought he was determined, even when he was getting knocked down, going to the basket, being consistent, driving. Having that memory of how that felt and playing against grown men, he'll be able to develop and get into the weight room, get that strength going into next season. Guys like R.J. Barrett, guys even like Culver, that's the one thing that you have to adjust to right away is the physicality of the NBA. And if you have the skill set, if you're athletic, that can get you, get you going for a little bit. You can get some baskets. If you can shoot, you can get some baskets. If you're Zion, you can impose your will because you're actually going to be bigger than a lot of those other guys. You're able to take the hits. But it gets to you where you can come in, you can be killing it November, December, you're down, you're up, you're down. We've seen that with rookies. So, like you said, Alan, I do agree. If you're here in this situation, all the eyes aren't on you because they're looking at the other pieces. Is it Mitchell? Is it a Knox? How they're all fitting together. And
Plus the veterans. You have
plus the veterans,
players
yeah.
who come in. They're going to
Yeah.
take a lot of attention away.
Free agents.
Can
You know,
right. It can
it's
allow
worth
you
pointing out in the history of the draft, noteworthy picks at number 3 overall.
Oh, let's see.
Leave it to Kenny Albert.
Oh.
Michael Jordan, Bob Cousy, Pete Maravich, Kevin McHale,
Those are pretty good.
Neat, Grant Hill, Melo, James Harden, Joel Embiid. Not a bad history, huh?
on it.
guess that's
Not a
Kenny's
bad
on it.
history.
I guess that's not bad.
No.
That's an
Listen.
impressive
True.
list.
Hey, listen.
you're in the lottery. You're going to get paid a lot of money.
Top
You're
three
doing-
pick. Top 3 is really good. I just think the only reason why we're a little down is because we were right there. It was like a 50-50 chance once
course.
we came down to the top 4. And Zion is that transcendent guy that is just box office that just really, really
But I also-
changes
But again,
the
our
franchise
whole theme
for
here
years.
is, Wally, you never know.
but-
and you can sit here and say X, Y, and
True.
Z is going to happen, and then A, B, and C happens. And it only makes sense in reverse.
I'm
okay?
saying it like I said
So-
last night, though.
I never
This
had
was-
more fun watching college basketball than watching that guy play.
But this was
Right
not-
now, for me, if there's one guy to watch on the planet, including LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, James Harden, I'm watching Zion.
Oh, go ahead and move to New Orleans because that's where he's going to be.
I'm just saying.
I mean,
No, I got what you're
listen
saying.
to me.
But my
Is he-
point is, this was less about the player. For all the fans I talked to yesterday and even this morning, it wasn't so much Zion as it was winning something.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Knicks fans had the hope that of coming away with a lottery win would feel like the tide's finally turning. And they came away feeling like, once again,
You know
we
what,
came close
guys?
but couldn't get it done.
July is
And that's what I
what
keep
matters.
telling them, that that's not the end of the summer, it's just the beginning.
the key thing is a free agency, is it not? I mean,
It's
look,
key, but it just was so close.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Yeah.
stop.
All right,
Yeah.
you
Well,
sort
it
out,
is.
and it's so complicated, the machinations with 3 overall and what it means with the Mavericks.
Well, what's important, less about the 3 overall and more about the fact that the Mavericks
Yeah.
did not move up, which was
Yeah.
important. If they moved up in the top 5, their pick that was supposed to go to the Hawks and the Trae Young, Luka Doncic exchange, that would have not gone. So the Hawks get the pick this year. But it wouldn't, if the Mavericks were in the top 5, they would have kept the pick, and the Hawks then would have gotten the pick in 2021, which would have forced the Knicks then to slide 2 more years up. So the 2 picks they got wouldn't have been until 23 and
They get 'em
25,
quicker.
Right.
which
They get 'em sooner.
they get them quicker, and maybe you can put them into deals now. So that 21 pick stays with the Knicks, and that could be an asset that maybe you'll see in a trade.
For more great videos from the MSG 150, check out right there. And remember, our show is on Monday through Thursday, 8 to 10:30 p.m. on MSG Network and MSG Go.